Hey, welcome back to Say Mojo Homestead. I'm Cass.
I'm Jeremy.
We have been kind of getting some stuff done this weekend to prepare our animals for some kind of cold, wet weather. We also have completed a project that I'm super excited about, and we can now feed our baby goats kind of hands off, which is really just going to be a time saver for me during the week. But first, it's the weekend. So of course, we get to do highs and lows.
You go first?
Yeah. My high was definitely that Majesty had her babies. We've never had mini Nubian babies here. This is our first year with a mini Nubian, and they're so different. They're so cute, but it was just a totally different process. So, yeah, so it was fun. So that was definitely my high. My low, I'm not gonna lie, is probably the fact that she decided to go into labor at 2:20 in the morning. That
was hard.
Yeah, it was hard getting out of bed. But a friend gave me some like lined overalls, farm overalls. Those came in such handy because I was cold and I don't like to be cold, and they kept me warm. So that was like a blessing for that experience. She did great. The first baby didn't make it, but then she had 4 more healthy, live, super cute babies. So that was really fun.
Yeah, 5 babies.
Oh my
that
gosh.
is crazy.
That's why she was so fat.
And this was her first time.
Yeah.
So, poor thing, like she's probably like, I'm never again doing that.
Right.
But
She
yeah,
was pretty miserable.
5 babies, 4 did make it, so that's really good. That was definitely my high, just getting through that. This was actually the first time I've ever been home and awake for it. But as far as like in the whole process, yeah, that was pretty cool. And it was just neat to be here. So
Yeah, it's a very neat process.
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So thankful though. I just happened to come out to check, didn't hear anything, and got out here right as she was starting into full-on labor. So went in, got Cass, and it was a really good thing because she was, I don't know whether it was just she was so worn out because she had 5 or what, but she really wasn't giving any attention to the babies. And with as cold as it was, they would not have lasted very long at all. So
she wouldn't even get up for them to nurse. I started milking her out so we would have something to give them, and she still didn't stand up. And she must have been so exhausted because I was milking her out and she actually put her head on my hand on the milk pail and fell asleep.
my low, honestly, it's probably, I've got a project at work and we're actually building stairs that go down this terraced backyard for this person. I was all ready to start it and everything, and can't find the lumber. Like they had this size, it's an odd size, so I really do have to go to like more of like a lumber yard. But the one that we use, they had them listed as in stock, but they didn't have them in stock. So now I'm like trying to track them down, and this project's like just hanging out there. I hate that. That's hate hard when you can't finish a project.
Yeah.
So that's probably my low, and just trying to find something, a place out there that has just kind of this odd size and treated lumber. Overall, it was a good week.
It really
was a good week.
Yeah.
But like we said, we are preparing for our winter storm that we're supposed to have tomorrow. Everybody's all excited about it. I'm like,
it's not gonna snow. Everyone thinks it's gonna snow.
My theory in South Carolina is if they forecast snow, which they did at the beginning of this week, it's a guarantee that it's not gonna snow.
Yep.
Every time it snows here, it's unexpected. So, and now it's completely off the forecast. It's like freezing rain, stuff like that, which we'll probably get a little bit of that tonight, but it's barely going to be below freezing. But it is going to be really windy. It is going to be wet. It is going to be just above freezing for most of the day. So today we're just spending our time kind of making sure all the animals have adequate shelter and all of that stuff. So
yeah, we're gonna add some hay to their areas so that they have that added insulation
kind of bed
and
down.
warmth. Yeah, and make sure that really they're just have a really good warm spot where they can get out of the rain. Obviously, they already have that. We just want to add an extra layer of insulation and a place where they can really make sure they can get out of the wind.
Yeah, the wind's the biggest thing when it's cold and weather like this. Our baby goats are still inside. You know, we like to transition them at 1 week. The first ones are 1 week.
Yeah. We're not transitioning them now. We're not going to do it in the wintry mix.
Unfortunately, you know, as cute as they are to look at, we can't sit there and look at them all day today because we have a winter storm kind of thing coming in. So, all right, so we are hanging out in the goat house today because, as we said, we are making a baby goat feeder, bottle holder. I don't know what you would call this. We'll call it a bottle holder. Bottle holder for feeding our baby goats. So we're gonna put it on this wall. As we mentioned before, we don't have like a barn or birthing stalls or anything like that built. That is on the agenda for this year, so we'll have them next year. But for right now, the last 2 years, we've kind of used the milk house as the staging area for the baby goats as well. We also have a little door that goes out into a little outdoor run, so they have a lot of room and stuff. So anyway, that's not really what we're talking about today. We're talking about the feeder. So the feeder we're putting in the milk house for that reason, and we're gonna put it on this wall. Now, this is an idea that I did get from Goat Daddy's farm. Not sure where they got it from. They may have just come up with it. I don't know. So I'm gonna show you how we're gonna do ours, and hopefully it'll give you an idea. If you bottle feed, this is a really good method, super easy. Hey, maybe you can use this and simplify your homesteading life as well. Let's get started. All right, so for the bottom section, kind of the shelf that's going to be holding the bottles, we are using a 1x8. The bottles with the holes that we'll drill are actually about 9 inches long. So I am going to have to set this off the wall a little bit, but that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this 1x8, which we are using for the shelf, in half. It's an 8-foot piece. We need a 4-foot section. Obviously the length is a variable, but gonna cut it in half, cut it down to 4 feet, and we'll go from there. All right, so we got the 1x8 cut down to 4 feet. Also went ahead and cut our 1x4 down to 4 feet. Now this is gonna be the ledge that the bottles sit up against, so we gotta get holes drilled in this thing so that the nipples can stick through. We are gonna drill 1 1/4 inch holes in these. That's enough for the nipple and the very top of the bottle to fit through, but nothing else. So when you're doing this and you load those bottles in there, you want them to be not tight, but a little bit snug next to each other, just so that you don't have them like moving around like this, where the nipple could come out and then the goats can't get to it and just make it frustrating for them and you. So we use Sprite bottles. Most people do use Sprite bottles. Something about Sprite bottles with milking, I don't know. I think I've heard that they're supposed to be a little bit more durable than other soft drink bottles, but who knows. So anyway, to do that, I'm gonna measure these out 3.5 inches apart, because that will allow these bottles to sit side by side in there without having too much wiggle room. All right, so I got the holes drilled. As you can see, about 3.5 inches apart. That does give some wiggle room. Now, what I did is allow for spacing in here so that we can put a board in between them. So there are 13 holes in here. Lucky number 13. Just the length that I had. Now my length, I could have made it shorter. Wanted to make it as long as possible. The longest I could make it was 4 feet because of where we're putting it in the milk house. So every 6 hole, they come in 6 packs. So I was thinking, hey, 6 holes, we'll put like basically a spacer or something in there. So that means that we can load just 6 bottles in here without them shifting. It goes back to that whole shifting thing and being knocked out of the holes. So that will act as a block if we only need 6 bottles. This year we had, our kids are running around playing, so you probably can hear them. But this year we have a total of 11 little baby goats. So this will be enough room, obviously, for those. Next year we will have more because we're breeding more of our goats. So we'll have to make another one of these for next year, but this will suffice for right now. The next step is taking this and attaching it to the shelf, like so. So we are gonna go ahead and do that now.
Okay, so we got our dividers in place. It's kind of just temporarily being held in there right now. We have to put these braces on underneath here and attach it to this wall, and then it'll be good to go.
So that's it. That's our feeding trough, milking.
I'm so excited about
baby
it. I'm so
trough.
excited.
I don't know. So yeah, we'll load these things up with milk, drop them in, goats eat, hands off. It is great. We'll be sure to get some footage. I don't know that we're gonna be able to feed them today. Next feeding will probably be a little bit too cold to bring them outside.
Yeah.
But definitely later in the week, we'll get some footage of that for you. I am, yes, very, very excited about this. Just hands-off feeding. It's really kind of nice.
Yeah, well, and being able to feed them all at the same time.
Yes, that's the biggest thing.
I work in the afternoons. I homeschool. This is just going to really help with my schedule, being able to just throw them in and do other things while they're eating.
Yeah.
So.
And feeding them all at once means that they'll be done in about a minute, 2 minutes at the most. They're pretty quick eaters. Frees us up for other stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
This is pretty basic. I just kind of figured it out. I saw one and then just sort of figured out my own dimensions for it. So not that difficult to put together. I think the most technical thing is the hole size. Again, we used 1.25 inch hole, which is just big enough for that cap to fit through. You could go a little bit bigger. It's not going to hurt. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Give it a thumbs up if you like these kind of project ideas. We'd love to hear back from you on that. Comments. If you have your own kind of way of feeding goats, if you bottle feed and hands off, let us know. I'd love to see that as well, because we're always open to different ideas. Yeah. Again, we're going to be doing this in a different place, so I'm going to have to move this for next year. If you've got a better way of doing it, then definitely let us know. We are all about keeping things easy out here and convenient. Thank you guys for watching. As always, if you have not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We try to get out a lot of different type of content for anybody who's interested in this, gardening, homesteading, all of it. And we really do try to focus on doing this on an easy and small scale situation. We need to homestead in a very efficient way. So that's what we try to get out there and teach you guys how to do. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great week and be blessed.